Now, there are two major choices of software to use when you're developing for Android. Android Development Tools and another product called Android Studio. Now, we'll talk firstly about Android Developer Tools. This has been around for years. It's essentially a plugin that works over the top of a product called Eclipse, which is a Java IDE, interactive development environment, which has itself been out for years. In actual fact, in 2001, when I was doing enterprise Java programming, I was using Eclipse. Now, prior to 2001, when it became free and open source, it was developed by IBM and it costs sort of thousands of dollars. So it's very mature. This is Eclipse I'm talking about. It has been out for many years. And the Android Developer Tools, as I mentioned, is a plugin that basically takes that functionality and adds a layer over the top of it so that you can use this for Android development. And the other thing to note is that it's obviously fairly stable because it's been out for so long. It does also still support the current SDKs, including Android 5. Until recently, it has been the major go-to tool for most Android app development. Now, it's not perfect, but it has got better over the years. Look, there are other options out there, but pretty well most people would be using the Android Developer Tools in some way, shape, or form, or have at least in the past anyway. But let's talk about Android Studio. Now, this is being actively developed by Google. The original version was announced and released in May 2013. It's still in beta at the moment. Keep in mind, and you probably may know this already, that Google's beta products are often better than other companies' released software. So their quality is very good. And certainly I can say from having used Android Studio that it is already a very mature and stable product. Now, the other thing I really like about Android Studio is that it's based on JetBrains IntelliJ IDEA. Now, this is software which essentially gives you an interactive development environment for Java. Now, I started using the JetBrains software around about 12 years ago. It has been out for a long period of time and they've continually updated it over the years. Fantastic product. So the way that Android Studio works is they've taken that functionality from JetBrains, and obviously JetBrains and Google have sort of come up with some sort of agreement, because Android Studio is free, but you get the bundled version, including this fantastic software, all included in the Android Studio product. So let's talk about some of the pros and cons of both platforms. Now, the Android Developer Tools, it's an industry standard. It's been out for a long time. There's a huge number of tutorials, projects, and frankly, jobs that are available if you know this environment very well. But as I mentioned, Android Developer Tools wasn't written especially for Android development. Rather, it's essentially a plugin that allows you to support Android development by using an old and mature product, or putting that plugin over the top of a mature product called Eclipse. Android Developer Tools is no longer being actively developed or enhanced. Google suggests actually that all new developers should probably look at Android Studio. And Android Studio is specifically designed, it has been from the first version released for Android development, and it is being actively improved and upgraded by Google. Now, personally, I think it rocks extremely well for no other reason for the fact that the IntelliJ software is included with it as well. It's very cool, and it just is a fantastic thing to be included, I think, in the software. Well, this, of course, brings us with a bit of a dilemma. What to use? Do we use the old but aging workhorse, the Android Developer Tools, or do we use the sort of new and funky but not fully complete Android Studio? Because you can see there's pluses and negatives with both. But I've got a simple solution for you. I've got this for you. We are going to be learning both. That's right. In this course, you will learn both Android Developer Tools and the Android Studio. Now, we're going to start out by using the Android Developer Tools, specifically how to set up and install it. Plus, we're going to develop a number of Android apps using that environment. But then we're going to move on later in the course over to Android Studio and take advantage of some of its capabilities, one of which is to import projects created with the Android Developer Tools. And we'll actually be doing that in a few of the videos. Now, the benefit to you is you're going to have skills with both environments. Now, that has to be a massive bonus to show on your resume and make yourself more marketable. I think it's very important to know both, and don't skip it. That's my advice to you, is to make sure that you use the Android developer tools initially, because you're really going to learn a heap of valuable skills for that platform, and you do need some of these skills. There's companies out there now that are hiring for both environments, but realistically, given how relatively new Android Studio is, a lot of jobs out there are going to be for Android, or going to assume you've got Android developer skills. So you do need to make sure you learn those basics before you progress on with and onto Android Studio. And as mentioned, in the later part of the course, we're going to be using this new and exciting product as well. So there you go. You're going to be learning both of these technologies in this course. But we're going to start out, as I've mentioned, with Android Developer Tools. And there's actually a section that's coming up where you'll be able to install this and get started. So without further ado, I'm going to end this video here. Check out that next video, and we'll take it from there.